What it do, what it is, it's the kid, it's Progress J, aka the micro content strategist. Man, I'm super excited to be back here tonight on another glorious Monday. Oof. It's a great way to start the week. And I got another phenomenal queen in the building.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Easton. I am the amateur expert. I know a little bit about a lot, and I'm excited to be here today to discuss what are we doing? Branding, we're talking about podcasting, and whatever else you throw my way.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm super excited to have you today because I think you have such a phenomenal realm of knowledge that people need to hear, especially within the Black community. And I had a chance to go through your portfolio and see some of the ways that you display your art. And I like to say art because I think what everyone does is a form of art. So, how would you define your art in general?
So, honestly, having to put definitions to things is new to me. I'm sort of a go with the flow, uh, just a feeler, honestly. And so having to define things is sort of like it makes me itchy a little bit, if I'm honest. Because I think when you define things, it makes it real, or like you're able to like qualify it, or quantify it, and that makes me nervous. Um, but I would say that what I am passionate about bringing to the world is information. I am super curious and I like to explore and learn. And so, a part of what I do weekly is bring people on that journey with me. And so, my art is um, my art is me. I don't know.
That's dope. No, and I love that aspect, right? Because art in all shapes comes in all shapes and sizes and all tools and resources that we can utilize as kings and queens to elevate our brand and our business. So when you say art is me, I think that that's a phenomenal catchphrase and brand statement, and that's one of the statements and slogans that I've heard in a while that really hits home. So when you say that art is me, how have you been able to express your art to your audience?
And so sort of like I said before, it's just like a curiosity. So I started the brand, I started podcasting. It wasn't even a brand. I started podcasting. Even prior to that, actually, I was blogging. And so I like to learn. And so my mom has always said, know a little bit about a lot. Like you should be able to walk into any room and be able to add value to any conversation. And if you can't, you should be able to ask smart questions, right? So that you can gain knowledge. And so I used to read books, I used to dip test recipes and write about them on a blog. I actually became insecure about my writing abilities. And so I took a break and then came back with the podcast because I was meeting so many people who were doing such cool things. And the wheels in my brain started turning like, is this something that you were always interested in? Is this something that um, did you take a class? Like, how did you get to be a part of this career or this lifestyle or whatever the case may be? And so my curiosity is sort of what drives what I do because I'm super interested and also honestly inspired by other people's stories because I think you can glean wisdom from people's highs and lows.
That's amazing. And it's phenomenal when you say that you can gain wisdom from people's highs and lows. And I definitely think that it gives us a point to kind of see how we can move forward as a culture, but also see how we can influence, impact, and also uplift those around us.
For
I
sure.
see a lot of inspiration when I look on your portfolio. How have you been able to stay inspired during this time of chaos and uncertainty?
It's been tough, honestly. I recently moved across country, thinking that I was going to have everything lines up, and then with the pandemics that are happening, a lot of things were shut down in regards to jobs and churches and things of that nature. And so I think mentally it did take a toll on me initially. But what I realized is that my curiosity sort of kept me going. And I know I keep saying that, but it's the truth. And two, I think that I think I started to realize that people were impacted by what I was doing, right? So, people who watch the show, the Amateur Expert podcast every week, you know, they would comment, or they would let me know that, oh, I really liked when you talked to such and such because I learned this, or I was inspired by what such and such said. And so, where I wasn't always able to find the motivation for myself, to be inspired, it was exciting to know that what I was doing was inspiring and helping others. And so that's sort of what, has been driving me during this time.
Definitely, definitely, and I think that that is a way of almost realizing one's purpose and one's passion in life. Once you figure out how you can inspire and impact those around you, I think you have a way with words. You have a way of articulating your thoughts that manifest into actions as you continue to execute, and that's why we wanted to have you on the show today. I do appreciate the way you carry yourself as a queen. How has your culture, your family, and just your overall foundation that you've built allow you to build a aura and a persona that is embraced by so many?
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Let me unpack that. um, So I was raised by my mom, who is, phenomenal, right? She had me when she was young, but she didn't allow that to stop her. She became RN as a, young mom, and really gave me all of her. And so I think I learned to be selfless, from her, but have, I also learned to be curious and to be resilient. Um, my mom doesn't let a lot of stuff get her down. And so you emulate what you see. And so I am who I am because of the people, who I was raised by and who were a part of, the village, Hillary Clinton. It takes a village to raise a child. So my mom was very intentional about the courses that I took, the schools that I went to, the activities that I did. And so I was always learning, and I was always growing and meeting new people and having new experiences, which I say would set, which, was my foundation, which built my foundation, and which, allowed me to be curious and to, um, explore life the way that I do.
Dope. That's dope. And I really like the aspect of you actually paying and giving so much just attribute and also contributions to your mother, because I think that we've all come from women, and that is natural presumption and kind of definitely analogy that I kind of get go to all the time is that we all
Mhm.
come from kings, we all come from women, so we should support the women in our life and how they've been able to play a part, no matter how little or how much, because at the end of the day, that woman will sow so much into you that you will be able to reap a harvest. And I think that that is kind of something that I've been taught by the women in my life. So how has these struggles and challenges that you faced in your life during the pandemic shaped your expectations, goals, and aspirations for the rest of 2020?
Oof, okay. Well, um, very good question. Um, like I said, I moved across country. I moved to Los Angeles from Connecticut. Um, and that is, a thing in itself. But what led me to move was wanting a fresh start. Um, I, was looking to join a new church, and I also was coming off of a divorce, right? And so I think that I sort of just mustered up all the courage and faith that I had to do something for myself. And so the challenges were, fear, the challenges were self-doubt, the challenges were financial. Like, let's keep it real. I left my job to come out here for another job, and with the pandemic, things were shut down. The challenges were, ego. I came out here thinking that I was gonna have a hot girl summer, that I was gonna be working and traveling and doing all of these things. And I was graciously humbled. It's been at least a year, right? And so I just, when I say hot girl, a girl summer, I just mean as so again, me and definitions. But for me, what I was expecting was to come to LA, and I was expecting to meet a whole bunch of new people, have a lot of fun, travel, be making tons of money that, I can get what I want, how I want, and just explore and live life. But that wasn't my story. And so I was had to sit back. I had to come to the realization that I'm not going to be working in TV production right away because productions are shut down. I have to realize that I'm going to have to think about what I can offer. How can I monetize what, my businesses or myself? How can I maintain and make sure that my self-care and my mental state is always positive, um, or in a safe, space. Um, yeah, so I had to overcome those things, and I did that through my faith. Jesus is my homeboy. That's my
I
dude.
love it.
And
I
so,
love it. I love it.
lots of prayer. I, was taking a
Amen.
lot of master classes. Um,
Amen.
and just it was still a hot girl summer, right? But it's in a different way.
Nah, for sure. I actually just wrapped up a devotional with an ordained minister out in North Carolina, and being able to kind of, just hone in on 5 scriptures about progress and have them shape and mold my mentality about what God has done and will continue to do in my life. It's kind of dope to hear that come from a millennial's mouth, because I think so many entrepreneurs of faith, they speak about God and what they done, what He's done in their life, but how are they actually representing and being that spokesman of just how it has allowed them to take their brand or business to the next level? So let's kind of tap into that, right? Because I love the saying that you said, Jesus is my homeboy.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
kind of
that's my
dope because my
dude.
dad's always taught me to like build my own relationship. I call Jesus my OG. So like,
Love that. Love that.
yeah. So how has faith played a role in your life as a young queen?
Um, I would say my faith is sort of like the driving factor behind 99.9% of the things that I do, right? So we are um we do sometimes succumb to our flesh, right? So let's say I'm not, perfect by any means, but a lot of my drive, a lot of my actions, a lot of things that I do are based off my faith and based off the faith that I have in Christ, and a lot of like the mental downloads or like the Jesus downloads, right? So a lot of my actions come from a very clear um a very clear direction. Ashley moved to California. Okay. Ashley join this church. Okay. Ashley start this brand. Okay. Ashley reach out to this person. Okay. So because I'm tapped into my faith, I'm able to honestly do what I'm doing. Like there's there's no other way to explain that I've my life. If I can be like so honest, like I can't really explain it. And that whole definition thing that I said in the beginning, how do you define it? But God,
Exactly. I
but
love
God.
it. I love it. I love it. And I think that that faith gives you the opportunity to have and seek that kingdom, which we really put to test every day. So
For sure.
one of the things that I wanted to tap into, right, is we go back to definitions. We go back to being curious about our endeavors as entrepreneurs, as men and women of God. How has this time allowed you to define yet be curious about the social norm or definition of what a 9 to 5 is?
Hmm. So I've always prided myself on being a awesome employee. great worker. I came from the hospitality field, so I am trained or was trained to anticipate and exceed the needs of others, right? And so I sort of take that in everything that I do. Um, and I've always, not always, but 9 times out of 10, I'm working 2 to 3 jobs because I like to work hard so that I can play hard. But I also, I think, am
Say that one more
fulfilled.
time. Say that one more time.
Say it again.
Say that one more time.
Oh, I work hard so I can play hard. That part. Yeah, and so I've always just tried to um just be able to sustain myself. But also I think I'm fulfilled by doing a good job and other people uh helping other people achieve goals or, make the bottom line or do whatever, whatever my tasks are. Um and so being out of work for months now, it has totally shifted my perspective on the value that I placed on, um, or the value that I felt, the validation that I felt I needed from a 9 to 5, right? And so I had to, in this time, define what that means or find that validation elsewhere. And I had to find that within myself. And so I am still applying for jobs. So it's not like anyone on LinkedIn, Indeed listening. Your girl is here and ready to serve. But also, I think this time has allowed me to press in on my skills, my dreams and my aspirations, and actually, penning the business plan and um, having the meetings and doing what I need to do to get my new venture up and going.
That's dope. And then this, I think that perspective is unique and it's needed for any of those of you that are listening and that are watching this, that you need to hear that right now. You need to stop, take notes, and actually pay attention. Now, this is a question that I really kind of wanted to ask based off of how you responded to that last question. You
Mhm.
say that basically this time has allowed you to find the time to dive into those creative yet innovative skills that you wanted to tap into and take responsibility for that and own it. How has this time allowed you to now basically own that creativity to pave a way like none other?
Hmm. So I think I bring my creativity to everything that I do. So whether it's working the 9 to 5 or planning a birthday party or a dinner, I'm a creative person, and so that's just sort of how I think, right? And my brain is always thinking of new ways to do things. Or also, I think I'm a little bit lazy. Uh, and I say that to say I like to find the most efficient way and most innovative ways to do things. So um, during this time, it's really been um, accepting and being obedient to the digital downloads or the spiritual downloads from the Lord. Honestly, all of the ventures that I'm working on now are literally spelled out by Him, and it's me being obedient to what He's saying for me to do. Um, and so my creativity, I can't even take
Credit?
ownership of it. Yeah, I can't take credit for it because it's literally like, wake you up out of your sleep or you be crying and then you realize, oh wait, I could or I should. So I don't even know how to properly answer that question because it's I think because I've tapped in to the spiritual connection that's allowed me to um innovate and create and operate during this time.
And I appreciate that. And I think that that's kind of one of the ways that allows you to not only separate, but also kind of just embrace who you are as a woman and as a creative mind. So I don't want to get them too much right, but they got to come back for part two. For
Let's
those
do
of
it.
you that are watching and listening, this is only part one of the interview series with the amateur expert, and I love that brand name, by the way.
I
I
appreciate that.
definitely think we're gonna tap into brand identity in the next interview. I definitely am excited. She's an insightful, charismatic woman
Thank you.
with a lot of insight, and I feel like she is definitely going to yield a lot of great tangible knowledge for you all. But the party doesn't stop here. We are about to go over to IG Live and recap this interview. So I really want to say thank you. And I want you to leave us with some last minute gems and projects that you have coming up.
Okay, so one, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your platform with me. I am not used to being on this side of the mic per se. And so I appreciate you sharing your platform with me. This has been so much fun, and I'm looking forward to part two. I am currently working on a clothing brand called Affirmed Armor, and I'm super excited about it. Another spiritual download that came last year, but I wasn't obedient. And so we'll talk about more of that, with the brand identity and things next time. But I would say that for anyone who's listening, the time is now, right? Like most of us know what it is that we're passionate about. Most of us know what it is that we are interested in and that we want to do, or the people we want to be friends with, or the people we want to work with. Tap into it. Like don't let your ego, don't let your fears stop you. Um, have the conversation, apply for the job, write the business plan. And it does seem daunting, and it is, like, let's not front, but you have everything that you need inside of you to get it done, especially if it's been on your heart for so long. So just take the first step and take one little step every day. You got it. And I can't wait to support you any way I can.
That's what it is, man. Hey, I need everybody to come up here and close out my show like this.